Hey girl. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Mesa in Arizona, where it has been an incredible, super fantastic, sparkling Shake It Up Saturday. How has your Shake It Up Saturday gone? Have you tried something new today? What did you do to shake up your life? Did you kick yourself outside your comfort zone? Get people to kick you outside your comfort zone? Did you go try something new, start something new? Sorry. What are you doing? And, yeah, so what have you done today to help shake up your Saturday? So we had Networking Riches on today, which again is always awesome. It's now a 2-day event online. It is fantastic. Love, love, love it. Yes, there is stuff that I hear repeatedly, but sometimes it clicks a little better than other times. And we had some new stuff today because we were talking about networking online. So talking about doing networking events online on Zoom, some of the protocols for Zoom, things like looking at your background. And as you can see, the light's coming in the wrong angle for me. My background it's kind of okay. Got to make sure my head's in the top, my eyes are in the top third. So we're talking about things like that. And I was sitting over in my purple studio. I'm sitting over here because I needed the break. It has been a very long day. My brain is fried. I'm actually going to put my feet up. Relax a little bit. I'm going to show you this. Hang on. She's actually laying there with it in her mouth. That thing has now lost its last squeaker. She silenced the squeaker last night, and look at those teeth. She got on your tongue. You got a bit of thread there, huh? And then today she actually removed the squeaker and left it on the floor for me to trip over. So, but she's actually been pretty good today and not being demanding as she normally is when I'm on a Zoom. But we had a great, great day. Lots of new people. We did breakout rooms, which we hadn't done before in Networking Riches. So I got to meet some new people that way as well. So it was very interactive. It was awesome. I can't wait for the next one. But I still have tomorrow to go, so I can't wait for tomorrow. But my brain is fried. Like, it is done. It's sort of like, so I was actually sitting here watching Genealogy Roadshow and learned something different today. I always learn something really cool on Genealogy Roadshow, and there's always been things that surprise me. Like I learned that the term privateering was actually sea captains who were authorized by the government to seize any ships and their cargo of foreign ships. So they were actually legally allowed to board any foreign ship and seize its cargo. And I thought, wow. And so these were privateers, and that's what they were authorized to do by their government. And there was a quasi-war going on between the French and the Americans back in the late 1700s through to the early 1800s, where the French just had it out for the Americans, and they would go after, and they were only going after ships that contained cargo, things like silks and food and opium and all sorts of other things. So it was going after their commerce stuff. So it was kind of interesting hearing the stories about that. So that was one thing that I learned today on the roadshow. Another thing I learned, which this one just shocked the crap out of me. I was sort of like, what? And I had to actually rewind it and play it forward again to see if I'd actually heard correctly. But there was one person was looking for their ancestors who had been slaves at one point, and they discovered in the 1870. It was either the 1860, 1870, or 1880 census that this woman's third or fourth great-grandmother was actually a freed slave who owned land, which I thought, that's fine. And then they dropped the bomb. They said, and she actually owned 5 slaves. And I was like, wait, what? And so, yeah, and they said it was a thing back then that some freed slaves actually owned their own slaves. And I was sort of like, what? So that one just sort of like blew my mind. And they said it was rare, but it did happen. And you can find them on the census reports, because any freed slaves could get enumerated. Whereas if you were a slave, you were property, so therefore you were not enumerated on the census reports. But if you were a free slave, you could be enumerated on the census reports. And that one just blew my mind. Freed slaves owning their own slaves. So Go figure. And I was like, that is just really, that just, like I said, blew my mind. And so that was a very interesting fact to learn about. But it's kind of interesting when you're hearing these different stories and things. And there was one guy, he didn't know very much about his family. His last name was Remy, and didn't know much about his family. And so he goes there with his wife and daughter, wanting to learn more. And it's an interracial marriage. But there was rumors in there that he had some African-American ancestry. So when they actually did his DNA test and then started tracing his family back, he had 0 African-American in him. He was actually 99% Northern European. And he was just like, what? He was shocked because there'd always been these stories in his family about having this African-American heritage back there and all that. And this just like totally blew his mind. But they traced his ancestry all the way back to like 530 AD or something like that. And he was actually a direct descendant of Saint Remy. And I was like, wow. The fact that they could go back, but because there was nobility in his family, for the nobility families, they kept very detailed family trees. So once you hit a connection with a family of nobility, you had your family tree done. So he was actually a descendant of Saint Remy. So it was a very interesting Genealogy Roadshows that I've been watching over the last couple of days. I'm now watching them when I'm like sitting having breakfast, when I'm having lunch. It's because it's just keeping me in there. And they also talk about some ways they go and find information about people as well. You know, we then went and had a look here and looked there and I go, ooh. And they're the ones that, there was something just niggling in the back of my mind when I was looking up these people for my client that, so like, oh, I could go look there for that. I could go look there for that information. But it's a wealth of information. You learn a lot about history and events in history. And then you also pick up ways to go find more information about things that took place, about the people that were involved in the events and that sort of thing as well. And one of the genealogy shows, they wanted to know if, I think she was a Hatfield. I'm trying to remember. She wanted to know if she was related back to the Hatfields from the Hatfield-McCoy feud, which is kind of interesting because the person I've been researching may have a connection to the McCoys. Her, I remember this, 4th great aunt married a McCoy. And the McCoy was born in Bourbon County, Kentucky. I haven't learned enough about the McCoy-Hatfield thing. I know it was around Kentucky, West Virginia area. I don't know what counties were involved. I don't know if he was part of the McCoys that were involved with the feud or not. I still have to go research that, but that was kind of cool to find out that connection as well. And then, so I had a very, very interesting day. We're just now kicking back and relaxing. Zephy's watching what's going on. Oh, it was hilarious this morning because the mail person comes between 11 and 11:45 every day. And if I have the screen door open, if I have the door open with the screen closed like I have here, she'll be up there in her bed. And around 11 o'clock, she goes and plants herself down here so she can sit on the top step with her feet down on the next step and look out the door and wait for the mail person. And yesterday, the mail person stopped. She sees the truck. She goes running up to the window, then comes running back to the door again. Her back end's going like crazy. And it was the female one who gives her treats. And so she was all happy because she got a treat yesterday when I had a parcel delivered. And so she was super, super happy about that. And so today she's sitting there at 11 o'clock. I'm over there doing my networking riches, watching what's going on. And I see the mail truck go roaring past. Now she has stopped, gotten out, given Zephy treats, even if she hasn't had mail for us. And the truck just went off down the road. And Zephy's like, "Arr, arr, arr." And like she's like freaking out. But then she sits up straight and she waits because she knows they go to the end of the street, they turn around and they come back and do the other side of the street. And so she's sitting there and she sees this thing coming and she gets all excited. Her back end starts going and the guy keeps driving by. And I happened to look up at that point and I could see it was the guy driving and not the female. And he doesn't stop and give her treats. Oh my gosh, was she upset today? She was so upset about it. She was literally crying when he went past. And she goes running up onto the dash, running back to the door again, running up onto the dash, and she was literally crying about the fact that the mail person did not stop and give her a treat. So I need to teach her that the truck doesn't always stop, and whoever's driving doesn't always get out and give her treats. And but I'm also trying to figure out why she has a fascination with this. This is a piece of rose quartz, and I keep it up on the table next to where I'm working, and every now and again it disappears. And I'm like, well, where did it go? And the first time I found it, I actually stumbled on it. My big toe hit it when it was on the floor. But twice today, during the Networking Riches, we had a lunch break, and then we had an afternoon break, and gone to the bathroom, come back, and the rose quartz been laying on the floor. Well, the first time it was laying on the floor. The second time, I sat back down in the seat there, was getting all comfortable, getting ready to get back on camera again, and I hear this noise, and I look up, and Zephy had dropped this out of her mouth. She doesn't chew it. She picks it up gently. I've discovered she picks it up gently, and she places it somewhere. But for some reason, she decided to drop it on the vinyl today. So I'm not sure what it is about her. I like this rose quartz. It's got a little bit of a sharp edge here, but it's also got this curvy piece in here, which actually fits the thumb quite well. So for like a worry stone, it's just got a really cool texture to it, and I like it, and I'll just sit there and just rub on it. So I have no idea what it is about the rose quartz that she will get up on the bench, go to the far end of the table, which is up against the wall, pick this up, gently pick it up, jump down, and go put it somewhere on the floor for me to stumble over or whatever. But when I got back from the bathroom break, when she dropped it, I'd gone over to her, I'd come over to the recliner and given her a couple of pets and stuff, and picked up the blanket that was here because I needed to put it across the seat to make it a little more comfy. And she's just sitting there just looking at me. And then just as I sit down, I hear this thud, and I look up to see what it was, and she dropped this on the floor. So she must have had it sitting in her mouth the whole time. She wasn't chewing on it. She was just holding it in her mouth. And I got up and said, what are you doing with this? And she just looks up at me. She gets some scratches. I pick it up. I go sit back down again. So if you know why my dog is going after the rose quartz, I would love to solve that mystery. But she, like I said, she doesn't chew it. And it's just craziness. I tell you, it's craziness. And so that's been our day today. We've learned lots of great stuff today. Learned some stuff on genealogy, learned some great stuff about networking. We're back again tomorrow morning for another 5 hours, 6 hours, or however long it is tomorrow. They actually did it very different to how they've done it before. There's a whole bunch of new slides in there. But they've got breakouts happening, so you get to meet other people and things. And then they're doing the breakthrough, what are they calling it? Oh, the breakthrough zone, which is not typically our hot seat or our masterminding time. And they did a couple of people today, but they're also going to do some more tomorrow, because I thought tomorrow would be all mastermind, but nope. They're split up the Networking Riches between the 2 days, and they're actually doing masterminding, or they're calling it the breakthrough zone. They did some today, and they're doing some more tomorrow. And I thought, that's a cool idea, because there's a lot of great information that comes out, and you do get a lot dumped on you. You get a fire hose put on you. But it was a great day. So thank you to Casey and Bajal and YT for their presentations and stuff today. Thank you to everybody that was on today, that shared information with everybody else, sharing ideas, all the people I got to meet today, those that are working behind the scenes on everything, from getting everything all set up to doing the PowerPoint. So Bruce, you rocked it again, man, with the PowerPoint stuff. So Bruce is our mission control person. He sits there on the starship, on the deck of the Starship Enterprise, I think it is. Oh no, he didn't have that background up today. He had a different one. Yeah. But anyway, it was a fantastic day. Lots of great information, and just really good connections made. So that's it from us for today. What did you do today to shake up your Saturday? Please let us know in the comments below. Would love to be able to see what you did to shake up, because you never know. Your shake up may be an idea for an inspiration for somebody else. So have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We're going to go kick back, relax, and rest the brain a little bit, and see where the night takes us. But we'll be back online tomorrow morning, so for Serenity Sunday. So have a super fantastic sparkling evening. He konera.